Great to see this man again at Bathurst, Glenn Seaton, in the Touring Car Masters and on the front row, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's any time you get the opportunity to come back here, and even though I've been here probably 30 times now, I still jump at the opportunity to come back here. But yeah, we've got some Kiwi friends here this weekend. I think it's about 25 of them, putting up a good field of our cars. I think it's 48 all up. Race 1, we won. Race 2 was a reverse grid. Actually had a little bit of a out of balance tyre, but for race 3, we're down one side's Australians, down the other side's the Kiwis, so it's going to be competitions on.
Oh yes, you'll start from pole position for this one here today. The number 30 Ford Mustang as they head across the top of this mountain on a magnificent Sunday morning here at Bathurst.
And Dean Perkins will start alongside him with a Roush Yates NASCAR engine under the bonnet of his XD Ford Falcon. So the run towards turn 1, and especially up Mountain Straight, those central muscle cars have got so much torque, the bottom end power you need to drag yourself up the hill. It's going to be good fun to watch.
So down the hill they come. Here's the Cooper's Dipper on their formation lap, getting set for the final race of the weekend. Beautiful day here at Mount Panorama as the Touring Car Masters are on their formation lap here. Love this time. It's like Christmas Day to us. Richard Craill alongside me, and we're getting set to take a look at a very unique grid because the Kiwis are here to take on the Aussies.
First time it's been attempted. Matt Nolte, good morning to you. As the Aussies line up on one side of the grid, the Kiwis from the Central Muscle Car Series on the other. And it's Glenn Seaton on pole position for Australia. Dean Perkins, the reigning champion from the Central Muscle Cars, starts from the outside of the front row. John Bowe next from row 2. Watch out for him, but there's some big names filtered throughout this field with fast cars that might be further back than they would expect to be, given the way this grid has been generated, which is from the race 1 results on Friday.
I liked yesterday's grid. We reversed the field at the halfway mark. Some guys in the middle didn't expect to be up the front, and I thought yesterday Colin Meadows did a great job to pick up the race win there. They got a big margin over the field too. Yeah,
really good battle at the front of the field yesterday between the Kiwis, giving them an opportunity to lead at Mount Panorama. They thoroughly enjoyed that. But this is what the weekend has been building to. The Wilson Group getting behind this Trans-Tasman Endurance Races, a really nice perpetual trophy that's been put together for this race. Hopefully it becomes an annual thing. We can have a great show. A couple of cars to watch in the field in this one, Matt Nolte. One of them is the Ford Capri Piranha of Adam Garwood. The 17-year-old Tasmanian has been an absolute star this weekend. That's not a starring performance for a Ford Mustang that ran at the front of the field yesterday.
And it's coming to a stop here. We may have to abort this start, maybe, and that's not meant to be doing that.
It was Paul Clark who finished race 1 22nd because of the reverse grid, was able to jump his way to the front of the field. Rusty French with a little bit of smoke from the right front corner of the Sky Sands Mustang. So hopefully Paul can get this car out of harm's way up at the chase and we can get this race started.
I spoke too soon about us going carnage free, didn't I? Second place yesterday for the Ford Mustang. Nonetheless, 2 Fords, but from completely different eras. Leading us down to Murray's Corner. We had upwards of 50 cars contest at the start of the weekend. We had a little bit of attrition, but that comes with the course of this. Been impressed with the Kiwis. Looking forward to how this goes. Glenn Seaton, a big moment for him.
How cool does that look? They're still coming out of the chase, Matt, as they come on to the start-finish straight. So Glenn Seaton, 302 Ford V8 against a big 358 cubic inch NASCAR engine in the XD Falcon. It'll be an interesting drag race. We agree. The Wilson Trans-Tasman Challenge.
It doesn't get much more better than that from the start. They were glued to each other. Cars spinning in the background, a long way off the circuit. And that's Bruce Anderson, who has a wild moment down there, who's carrying one of our onboard cameras right to the back of the field.
Just squeezed out wide, got on the grass, a little bit damp offline, obviously, and speared down the escape road, on for the lead. Seaton under pressure. Dean Perkins going around the outside in the Falcon, but the Bathurst veteran will hold on. That's John Bowe in third in the Wilson Tirana. Busy behind, there's Stevie J in the GDHO Falcon. And Paul, unfortunately, the number 49 Ford Mustang, who was such a good performer yesterday, missed the win by half a tenth of a second. Unfortunately, non-starter in this one.
At least he got it back to the pits anyway. We keep green. Stephen Johnson made it to the podium during the Toyota 86 Racing Series event this morning. Now back behind the wheel of the Super Falcon as he heads across the top of Sulman Park here on lap 1 in front of a packed house here at Mount Panorama today.
Great start by John Mitchell, the Kiwi in the second of the XD Falcons. He's one of the younger guys from the Central Muscle Car Brigade, but he's caught in that sandwich between Dean Perkins and John Bowe in front. That'll be a great story he'll be able to take back to New Zealand. I passed John Bowe in the opening lap at Bathurst.
Right, that one down. Down they go through the Cote Tire S's. The downhill plunge into the Cooper's Dipper.
This is playing into Glenn Seaton's hands while Perkins struggles to get tyre temperature up in the big XD. Cito driving away. The gap already 2.3 as they cross the top of the mountain. So JB will keen to get a move on and get past these two cars and chase down his old rival.
He's gone, hasn't he? They wouldn't let him get too far ahead here. Back on board with Johnson, stretching the legs of the big Pete Gagan tribute car. Saw him jump into this car at Adelaide this year after running in Mustang Sally for the 2015 season. Comes the US Army entry. We've been very impressed with that. The two Falcons going out in a bit of a drag race down to the chase. Bow clocked at 280 k's at the speed track just before the turning point into the Woodstock chase. He's got great speed in that Tirana and caught up behind the XD Falcons, which aren't the smallest racing cars in the world, so they punch a pretty big hole in the air. The Tirana with a little bit of assist as he went down Conrod Straight. They did a lot of work, Matt, with the engine capacities and revs on these cars and where they put the rev limiter. So if you're over 5.2 litres, you're limited to 7,500. Under that, you get 8,000 RPM. So JB's got more revs to play with in the Tirana, but a little bit less grunt. He goes down the inside at turn one and moves to third. But the big Falcon behind will have more legs. Glenn Seaton just pinched the front left going down into turn number one. Here's a replay of the start. Keep an eye on the 169 of Bruce Anderson. When we go to green, looks like everyone just stacked up a little bit in the field. You'll see the car spin its way on his own on the grass and lucky to keep it off the wall down at Hell Corner. Lucky there's a long escape road there on the run down to Boundary Road that takes you out to the back of the circuit, yeah. So he just dived right to take evasive action as they all checked up before turn one. Bit of parallel parking. So you did at the car park last night. This will be interesting. So he's just up behind the US Army Camaro. Kept it out of the wall. Car stalled, get it refired and drive on. And this was JB up the inside. So this was the fight for second. We saw them change positions coming down into the final corner. The battle was still on. Great scrap. And Mitchell has cleared him, so he's back into second place. Nothing like straight line performance at the mountain, Matt. He's having to work for it today, John Bow. The Tirana behind the two Falcons. You see Stephen Johnson lurking back there at fifth position. Bressington is next aboard the Bob Middleton entry that Andrew Miedeke drove for the past couple of seasons. And Mark King, Brett Yilden is back in the field. They sweep down the mountain towards Forest Elbow here on lap two. Bressington charged from 38th to 7th yesterday, and I spoke to him this morning, Matt. He said, I had a plan at the start of the race just to take it really early, and really easy and conservative, and then I got halfway through and I went, no, I'm going to have a crack. And he did, and he ended up in P7 just behind Adam Garwood, who started even further back in that amazing little Ford Capri. He's performing really well. 11th at the moment, just behind Jason Gomersall. He's in Dad's car this weekend. He started from 17th, so he's on the charge as well. There's your leaderboard left-hand side looking through this entire 45-car field that's took the green flag here in the final race of the weekend at Mount Panorama. There is that US Army car being squeezed by Jason Gomersall in that beautifully prepared iSeek two-door Tirana. But these two Falcons, Richie, are going to stack the field up here. Already we've got another 5 or 6 cars joining the queue. So David Hopper and Jason Gomersall having a great fight. If you're wondering why that car's running the US Army sponsorship to get a powertrain for it, they bought a US Army sponsored NASCAR from the States and put the driveline in it. Pretty easy and affordable way to go car racing. And doesn't it sound awesome as he goes side by side with Adam Garwood. It's Glenn Seaton leading us here up Mountain Straight. A big gap of 4.5 seconds here at the mountain. Over the halfway mark here at Mount Panorama. There's been plenty happening here as we watch Adam Garwood going across the top of the mountain here. Car 21 inside the top 10 now and chasing Brett Yilden. Terrific drive for Garwood. Was 11th 2 laps ago, now 8th. He's passed Hopper and Gomersall in the iSeek Racing Tirana. His next target, Brett Yilden, who's had a very consistent weekend, now running in 7th place. Mark King 6th, Bressington up to P5. Johnson, Bow, Perkins 2nd through 4th, and Glenn Seaton now 5.6 seconds out in front. Under trouble down here as they come out of the Forest Elbow region and work our way down Conrod Straight here on lap number 4. Fantastic battle going on here on lap number 4 as the big Falcon has the field stacking up, including John Bow, Stephen Johnson, and Adam Bressington buying into this one. Straight line performance of Dean Perkins in the XD Falcon, pretty remarkable. They were side by side out of the elbow at the top of Conrod Straight. About 2 Ks later, he had 10 car lengths over JB, like cubic inches on the mountain, but Bow under brakes closes in. So Glenn Seaton 6 seconds out in front now. This one shot to pieces. The battle on for 2nd through 5th place. We saw
young John Midgley off the road at turn 1 last time around. Got out in the gravel track, belted the wall. He's continued on, but it's changed the order at the front of the field. He was fighting with Perkins for second and third place, but he's dropped back through the order, and it almost released JB, but wasn't quite able to clear it.
This is further back in the field. Is Eddie Abelnika back behind the wheel of car 48.
Oh.
And that was Grant Dalton getting served up by Wayne Mercer. We saw that car slowing down and almost hit by the 33 car on the exit of the cutting.
It's unfortunate there should be contact between Abelnika and Mercer because they got into each other at turn 2 yesterday in the race.
And on a very personal basis this weekend. This is what happened down at turn number 1 to Midgley. Locked the left front, went off into the gravel trap and just tagged the wall side on. For the blue Ford Falcon, dropped him down to 12th position.
Cameron Tilley, who had the ultimate honour earlier in this week by having a beer named after his car, true story, in the pace it goes through as Paul Freestone has a spin at turn 1. Pace of beer, be one worth trying.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if there's a higher honour awarded to an Australian motor racing driver. So a little bit of contact down there at 1. 360 spin for Paul Freestone. Get first gear, drive on, away you go.
10 out of 10 though. If he pulled it off, it would have been awesome. Lap 5 of 6, this battle still continues. Glenn Seaton is leading this race still, 6.3 seconds ahead of this angry pack of 4 cars coming down through the dipper.
And isn't this classic Bathurst racing? The Dean Perkins Falcon isn't real good across the top. He's struggling a little bit. And JB all over him, but down the straight he has got absolutely no answer. Now, Bow goes down the inside at the elbow, so that's fine, but we've seen how fast the XD Falcon is in a straight line. Watch it down Conrod Straight.
Slower car on the left-hand side. That's Dr. John Elliott, who had a wild moment at the elbow on Friday and lucky not to be hit. And Bow straight down the middle of Conrod Straight. He's done this a few times over his career.
Absolutely determined to hold on to second place. Unfortunately, he'll run out of time to chase Glenn Seaton down, but he might have a crack at the lap record on this final lap of the race. Adam Bressington ran the outside of Stevie J and gets it done.
Stop it. That was seriously cool. You don't do that and get away with it normally.
Really good move. He is driving exceptionally well this weekend. Adam Bressington, he's had a couple of years out of Touring Car Masters racing. As Adam Garwood now has a look down the inside of Brett Youlden. So that's the battle for 7th, 8th and 9th with Jason Gomersale in behind. I spoke to Jason this morning. He elected to basically start the race from pit lane. He pulled into the lane on the formation lap to get some clear air because he hadn't had an opportunity to find out how good his car was when he was running on his own. It turns out it was really good because he did a mid-219, which was the fastest lap of the race yesterday. He was really happy.
And another impressive drive from the young Tasmanian, Adam Garwood, who started 17th, is now inside the top 10. But Jason Gomersale has got other ideas aboard the IC Tirana.
This warm your heart as a car racing fan.
Yep.
See these great cars racing like this. GTS 350 Monaro, V8 powered Ford Capri, A9X Tirana, and a Chevy Camaro thrown in for good measure just behind them. That's Hopper in the number 160 US Army car. Garwood has a look up the inside at the cutting on Brett Youlden, who was slowed through the middle there. Garwood's been really good. The run down Conrod Straight into the chase. That thing really impressive under brakes as well. Little Capri handles well. Seaton by 4.5 seconds, and JB's flying on this final lap. He'll take that margin down as much as he can.
Still Perkins in 3rd, Bressington in 4th position across the top of McPhillamy Park for the final time here in the Touring Car Masters. They sweep down here. I don't think Bauer's got enough time here. Another lap or two earlier might have been a different story. But Glenn Seaton, winner on Friday here, and looking good here for the final race on Sunday morning here at Bathurst. Here's a pass now from Bressington.
He is on fire in this race, down the inside in the White Line Racing Camaro, and moves past Dean Perkins in the ex-police car, that XD Falcon. In his former life, he's owned it on and off for 20 years, they tell me. Very fond of it and always drives it hard. She's got plenty of low-down grunt. Look at that. Before they get to the first hump on Conrod Straight, he's clear of the Camaro.
Oh, this is cool.
The Chevy's a bit better in a straight line in the top end and clears in the game and run into the chase.
2 passes in 1 straight. I like it. Bressington up to 3rd spot now. Johnson behind this group in 5th. But Glenn Seaton, hasn't he been strong this weekend? We've seen him in the Toyota 86 Racing Series with his son Aaron, and it's going to be a convincing winner in the final race here today at Mount Panorama by 2.5 seconds to John Bow here at Mount Panorama in the Touring Car Masters. Bressington will just get 3rd, and there's that Tirana again, right on cue at the finish of the race, going to lap down Mark King behind this group, and Adam Garwood from near back of the top 20 finishes inside the 10 once again.
And JB got within a 10th of the lap record on the final lap. Couldn't quite get there. He got the margin down to 2.3 seconds as Glenn Seaton cruised to the line. So the Australian side wins the first ever Wilson Trans Tasman Challenge. But, man, I hope we can do this again. Really good fun. And the Kiwis excelled this weekend. Tremendous job. 3 races, no yellow flags or safety cars. And there's the order. Seaton, Bowen, Bressington, the top 3, with Dean Perkins in 4th.
Nice. The guys behind them, including Johnson, Mark King, Greg Garwood and Brett Yilden. Jim Richards got up to 11th. Colin Meadows, who won yesterday, was 13th. Keith Kasulki down to Eddie Abelnika and Tristan Tecchi inside the top 20. A lot of cars here this weekend.
Rusty French, 22nd. Tony Hunter in the amazing Chevy Monza, 24th. Down to Leo Tobin in 28th. Our Belgian, who ran at the front of the field in the reverse grid affair yesterday, 31st in the Mercury Comet. Terrific stuff on the mountain, Matt Nolte. Great show for the Wilson Trans Tasman Challenge.